Pundit is the football trivia game. Every sale using the code LIONS at checkout now gives a whopping 40% discount, plus a £10 donation to the Lions Food Hub. Visit punditgames.co.uk to order your copy. punditgames.co.uk, code LIONS.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Burnley. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome to Achtung Millwall, number one Millwall podcast. My name is of course Nick Hart. You join us in the aftermath of a magnificent, in the end, 1-1 draw, if you can have such a thing. It was a draw that for me felt like a win last night. Joining me to chew over the cud of yet another magnificent performance by Millwall is one of our regular correspondents, Graham Payne. Welcome to the show, Graham.
Hello, Nick. Nice to be on. Yep, it was a magnificent performance. Definitely.
I thought so. I mean, you know, just a couple of days, 72 hours on from that season-defining game against Sheffield United, Graham. I mean, I didn't anticipate the same thing over again, but in a very different way, we got the same thing, if that makes any sense to listeners, because we were really up against it, against a top draw Burnley side in championship terms. We were really up against it for the bulk of that game. But what spirit and what spine and what steel this team's got at the moment, mate.
It has. I mean, you know, I put it on our group chat. I thought it was going to be another Coventry after the QPR performance, you know, that would they be able to get up for it again so quickly after such a magnificent performance on Saturday? And obviously there was a couple of changes, but, you know, you can't fault them 1 to 11 again. You know, they all did their bit last night, I thought. Yeah, it was a magnificent performance. It was.
I mean, the starting 11 last night, as you say, reflected a couple of changes. Bradshaw, the talk on the internet was Bradshaw was being rested. He was actually injured.
Yeah.
Gary Rouse said he was actually carrying a knock. And he said he may only be good for, you know, the last 15, 20 or so at the end of the game, which is how it worked out for him. But anyway, last night's starting 11, Jules Long in goal, backline, Murray Wallace, Charlie Cresswell, Jake Cooper, Danny Mack. The midfield two, Jamie Shackleton, George Saville. Changes across the attacking three. We had Honeyman, Fleming, and then Watmore coming in last night in place of Burke, who was ill, apparently. He wasn't even in the squad at ground. Yeah. And Vogelsammer up front. I mean, as it started, I mean, I don't think we actually got the ball. I think there was at one point I was watching a stream of it, listeners. I couldn't get along last night, sadly, but there was a stat, Graham, in the first 10 minutes. I think I wrote it down here that they'd had 90% possession, and we'd had 10%. And I think half of those were just kind of punts forward to try and get the pressure. Yeah. I found Burnley to be almost the epitome of the modern side, a Manchester City style side, obviously with Vincent Kompany managing them, both brilliant and unattractive.
I totally agree, Nick.
Very strange combination, Graham, because you have to admire them, but I really didn't like them. And the reason why I had more time for Sheffield United on Saturday, and that was more of what I would define as a traditionally English performance from both sides. Could have gone either way Saturday. But it was an honest performance. Last night felt like they were trying to pickpocket you all night.
It is, and I think it's like what you say. I find watching Man City at times boring. I do. Yeah. You know, I know he's like the number one coach in the world, Guardiola, but at times, you know, no, it's not for me. But yeah, they knocked it around, and then first 10 minutes we didn't get anywhere near them. I think the one thing I do think they do lack, which is good for us, is they haven't got what I call a top class forward, and I think that was the main thing last night that stood out. Yeah, just as well. But that's what stood out to me last night. It was all, you know, pretty football playing it around, but there was no, I didn't think, real threat up front, to be honest. But
I know what you mean. I mean, they created chances. I'm just looking through the notes. I mean, you know, chances through the first 10 minutes. There was a self-imposed error quality to. I think we were just a little bit under. I think we were tired last night, Graham. I mean, that was a massive performance Saturday, and then to be having to serve up another. I think everyone, as they took the pitch last night, knew that it was going to need another huge performance, and it was a big ask of that 11. The squad is injury hit already, so we're really having to dig deep to go out and match a top quality side in our terms. But I think it's easy to say self-imposed errors, but I think it's just lack of experience. I mean, Cresswell showed at times he is a youngster still, isn't he? And you can talk about errors, but you're up against quality international level players, and yes, they will find you out a little bit. And I think we did well to cling on, but we did even better, really, to claw our way back into that first half, because after the first 10, 15 minutes, I thought we're in for a Fulham-style hiding when we got beat 6-1 or 6-0 there? I can't remember now. But I thought we were on for that kind of mullering last night, but we weren't. And all credit to this side, because it takes a lot of guts to get back into a game. Or you're clearly being, I don't know about outclassed, but certainly they were playing on a level that we probably couldn't have matched. Fleming, I thought, stood out, especially in the first.
I was just going to say that. I think Fleming came to the fore as the half wore on. He seemed to get more into the game. There was that one he tried where the keeper was off his line. He tried to
the Beckham chance.
Yeah, Beckham.
I mean, the ambition of the boy. I love the ambition. I mean, I think that we'll depending on how the season turns out, I think we're very much in the mix for the top 6, certainly, as it stands. We placed 5th after that draw last night. But so we'll see how, whether we retain Fleming's services going forwards. But he's a level above most of our players. And as you say, I think he's got the skills, Graham, but he also relishes the battle slightly. I think he loved the big time atmosphere, and he loved the battle. He likes
the physical side, I think. He definitely likes the physical side of the game.
He's a strong boy.
There was a couple of times where he gets involved and he does use his body strength. The only thing I would say about him, and this is it is a little criticism, I think it's time for him to come off the free kicks, because they don't seem to be, he's always hitting the wall. They don't seem to be having any power.
I suppose when, if you're named as the creative of the side, you're going to grab the ball. Yeah. He's not going to let it go lightly, is he? I mean, it was interesting. I think Saville took one. I think it might have been the second half, actually, last night. We had a dangerous looking free kick that Saville took rather than Fleming's. But yeah, it's also useful to see Ryan Leonard taking some of the long throws as well as when he came into the game. I mean, 0-0 at half time, and I've got to say, as we said at the start of the conversation, I thought we were certainly in the early part of the half we were clinging on, but by the end of it, they had moments. They weren't really looking as good as they did in that opening phase. And I thought we did well to get through to half time at 0, and a real body blow in the 50th minute when we conceded the goal, which was an unfortunate error by Charlie Cresswell, which they latched onto. I mean, they are a decent side. They move the ball very, very well, and they've got some decent players in amongst that squad there.
Well, I think also, I don't know who they were, but apparently 4 of their best players weren't playing last night. Apparently there's a guy who came on right at the end, I think Tello. I think he's their top goal scorer.
I saw his name. Yeah.
So, again, it was unfortunate for Cresswell, but he got caught out and they took advantage of it, and I think it's just one of the things.
This level, Graham, it's a learning curve for the boy, really. If he aspires to Premier League football, you make an error, you get punished. And that's what we saw last night. There's no real, not much margin for error at this level. And we really dodged the bullet when they hit the post. It was about 10 minutes later. They had a break on the right and the ball came in, and we really caught a break there, because I think if we'd gone 2 behind, they would have struggled to get back into that game, wouldn't they? And then that's right. There was a corner that buzzed across the goal as well after that. So, it was winging a prayer really at the start of the second half. And I thought that if there is a football god up there, I don't know if there is, but he was smiling on us last night. I think on another day, 1 or 2 of those extra goals had gone in, and we really would have been up against it, wouldn't we? After that, if that had gone, those had gone near the net. Fair play to Gary Rowett, though. He's made substitutions at the 70th minute. I thought we needed to change it. I thought we were just starting to look a little bit well out of the game. But in came the man of the hour, Tom Bradshaw, for which would proved to be a crucial substitution. What more I thought like Vogelsammer, to be honest, in that front row. But certainly Watmore looked a little bit ineffective last night. Whether that's a different level of team.
I also saw he kept getting caught in the first half more offside, which something we haven't really had. I think it's where he's not used to our way of playing yet. He's only been there a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, but there was 2 or 3 times where he got caught offside, and he wasn't really effective last night at all. Really, was he? Watmore, I didn't think, but there's obviously a player in there. I think anyway.
Well, we've seen what he can do already, and the same with Shackleton who came out. I mean, at that point, 1-0 behind, we were looking second best. I don't think there's any dodging it. I mean, from here onwards, though, once the substitutes came in the last 20 plus added time, again, we said at the start of the conversation, the steel of the side showed through, because we really did started to get the ball forwards. And really, that's when Burnley started the kind of play acting and the, should we call it dark arts? I don't know. It's
or as Jim said, the shithousery, I think.
The shithousery. Yeah, and it began from there onwards, really, didn't it? I mean, I've noted the awful refereeing. The referee just got a bit like the man on Saturday. I think just got a little bit out of his depth. It sounded like a big atmosphere in the ground last night, and there was a bit where the player managed to get himself back on the pitch, having taken a knock on the advertising board, managed to roll himself on.
Well, he was dragged. To delay the game. He was dragged back on. It's funny. I just
not being shown liberally there, Graham.
Something I was going to tell you, Nick. A couple of weeks ago, I was at Beckenham Town watching. A guy got injured, went down, and suddenly they're going to substitute him. So he gets up and starts hobbling off. The manager of the team says, "Go back down." The referee sees this, books him. He's already been booked, so he's sent off. So the guy's been sent off, and they can't make the. He was sent off then because it was his second booking, and they couldn't make the substitution then. But I mean, where was the booking last night when that guy did what he did? Nothing.
I think the referee gets. I think they get a bit overpowered. I mean, obviously you got Vincent Kompany and his reputation, whatever you want to think of that. Plus, it's a dramatic situation. You've got the leading side, the kind of the Sky TV nominated, what they call them, Wankfests, I think they call them, don't they? It's the team that everyone's got to love. You're obliged to, when you take out your subscription, you have to love them and admire them and all that. And I think it's maybe a difficult situation to be in. I don't know, but yellow card was the minimum. I would have thought showing a man the yellow. He's put himself by hook or by crook, got himself back onto the pitch when he's off it. And of course it's all right when he gets up. As great commentary, incidentally, by Carl and Max. I know you listen, boys, and that was great commentary. I think you described that perfectly. No, I'm thinking of that, and also later on the situation where they've good commentary for
Danny
that,
Mac
listeners. Later on where that was the Bistow kid I called him, was it Twine, Scott Twine, is he? Rolling around like he'd been shot in a kind of very badly made western or something, And again, that's what I meant by them being an unattractive side. They're both beautiful and unattractive. I used to go out with a girl years ago, Graham, and she was gorgeous. She would stop when you walk into the pub. Heads would turn. Almost like the piano would stop playing, and you felt like king of the world going out of her. But she was fucking poison, mate. I tell you. And it was just in the end, you think as gorgeous as it is to watch Burnley, that aspect would be very destructive. It was so great to get ourselves back in the game, and the goal when it came was from the right-sided crossing from Zian Fleming in the melee and fired on by the man of the moment, Tom Bradshaw. It felt like justice had been done. I don't know if that's over romanticising it, but I think it felt like the right outcome had been reached, because I think we put plenty into the game, and they just took away any empathy you might have for them as a probably a championship winning side.
Yeah, I was going to say, I if I'm honest, Nick, I didn't see the goal coming, the equaliser. I just thought, and it was a nice shot out of the blue for me. Did come out of nowhere, and it was like. It's like, we just scored the winner. The ground, you know what it's like. The ground erupted.
For the last
it was like we scored the winning goal, like, you know. But yeah, great moment. And he, you know, the guy, you can't, you know, he's on fire at the moment, Bradshaw, isn't he? Just hope he stays fit.
There's a sad post on Twitter. Someone who was slagging him off, Bradshaw. I think maybe last year, slagging him off as he can't score for Toffee, and he got blocked by Tom Bradshaw. Now he wants him to unblock him because he wants to praise it. Very social media dilemma. He's no longer a useless wanker now. He's now brilliant. So that's all right, isn't it? So unblock me on Twitter. It was a fantastic point, and one that's propelled us into 5th place. There's a very tight pack in the division, but we are sitting 5th on 50 points now. It's all starting to feel a bit real now, Graham. I mean, that's 4 points taken from the top 2 sides in the division. I don't think any of us would have predicted that at 2:59 on Saturday, would we? You know,
after Coventry, no. I mean, I think I said it to you that after the Coventry defeat, I said the next 5 games to me are season defining, and to get 4 points out of the first 2 is, you know, it's a great start. Now we've got the 2 away games, Stoke and Luton, and then we finish at the 5 with Norwich at home. You couldn't have asked for 4. You know, 4 points from them 2 is a great return.
It's the most Millwall thing of all to take 4 points from the best 2 teams in the division and then go and flop at Stoke and get on the road. So we've got to keep our perspective, and this is a perspective show, listeners. We don't get too carried away on Achtung Millwall. We've seen it all many times over the years, you and me, Graham. So we've got to bring our A game to Stoke. A difficult, the proverbial difficult place to go, isn't it, Stoke City? And I think the squad, I thought at times looked a little bit tired. They were certainly up against it, against the quality side last night. Hopefully against Stoke, it should be a little bit more, you know, straight down the line English style football, and that seems to suit us quite well. I think we're a difficult team to break down for those sides that don't have the guile that we did see, in fairness, from Burnley last night. So fingers crossed. I've got a few tweets to take us through to the voicemails, listeners. I've got one here from a chat. I think he's Burnley fan, listeners. Guy calls himself Monkey. Fair play to Millwall. Great work ethic. It was a great work ethic last night, Graham. I mean, I don't think you can fault any of the players in terms of input across the whole 90 minutes, really. Pure battle and fight from them to nick a goal. Hope they get in the playoffs, says the Twitter Clarity says. So that's very kind of him. And there's images from the club account there. Zian Fleming. We gave everything we had. I think Zian was my man of the match last night. Would you go anyone different there, Graham? Would you have a different choice to Zian?
I think the only other one possibly was Danny Mack, but yeah, I think Zian, just because he did stand out for the whole game, you know, as our standout player, I would say, for the whole.
Yeah, Danny was good last
really.
night. I think Danny's. I mean, I had a conversation on with Tony Monday about Danny's forward passing, which maybe is an area to look at. But I mean, I thought defensively last night he looked pretty good. So just looking here, this is Dan Marsh posting about Zian Fleming. Very, very good tonight. He says his goal return has been impressive, but he's starting to have more of an influence in games beyond that. I think that's probably. I mean, you mentioned the free kick area earlier on, but this is the influence he's bringing, Graham. That's where his real value lies. This is a statistics website. Eye on the Ball says Zian Fleming versus Burnley. 7 out of 8 dribbles completed, 8 recoveries, 15 of 21 duels won. So challenges won. He certainly seems to have found his home in English football, Zian, and could be a major factor for us. So it's an interesting post here. This is Alex Jones from News at Den. Gary Rowett said that Tyler Bury feels a million miles away with his hip injury. Well, that's a strange turn of phrase. He feels a million miles away. I mean, he's either healing or he's not. Hutchinson is set to train. Sean Hutchinson set to train on Thursday. That'd be a massive. You know.
I thought he was going to be out a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a desire to get healthy when the team are looking at a promotion surge. I don't know. Maybe that helps with your recovery. I don't know. Billy Mitchell has some good news about his ankle. No surgery, 6 to 8 weeks out. And Oliver Burke should be back on Saturday. I thought we did miss Burke's pace last night a little. I thought that was one thing when we were under the cosh, early first half, early second half. I thought maybe, Burke just gives you a bit of something to worry the opponents, worry their defence. We did miss that a little bit, I thought.
Yeah, I think the difference also this time with Burke, he definitely looks fitter than when he was here last season. What I've seen of him, he definitely looks much fitter than he was when he came to us last season.
Absolutely. Speaking to the BBC London, Radio London, after the game, Gary Rowett said it's been a good few days. It's taken its toll physically on the group. It must have done. I mean, that's two massive performances, both different, Graham, but both sapping of energy. And I think it will. That's the only thing that bothers me about going to Stoke again.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing.
There's a lot. We have another one in Luton coming quite quickly, but that's the nature of the business that we're in. Good, well played to Gary Rowett for fielding the young Irish boy Marku and Esse. I thought Esse certainly looks the part, and it was interesting to see Marku on the pitch as well. So interesting to throw him into that kind of bear pit environment. That would be a great experience for both of them. And finally, one from McClaney. I think we've made this point a few times, Graham. I think it's worth making it again because he's been slagged off a good few times over the years. So probably it is time, as McClaney says, I think it's time that Gary Rowett got the credit that he deserves. What he's done with the budget and the overall status of the club against the big boys is absolutely top notch. I've been a critic, but time for all the fans to really get behind this team for the promotion push. Seconded there, McClaney. I think that's a very well made point. I think again, we were watching the game last night. We watched the game Saturday. The value of some of these players that we were going up against there, Graham, compared with what the resources that we are able to bring to the party. That's the real tribute, I think, don't you? I think that's where you got to take your hat off to go. I mean, who knows how it's going to finish? We are still the underdogs in a sea of bigger fish, but it's starting to get real, mate. It's starting to feel like it's on.
Yeah, I totally agree. This I know we've probably said this before. It's been on before, but it does feel different this season. We've got more points than we normally have at this time of the season.
Yep.
We're not coming from way back down to make a run. We're right in the mix. And this time also, I think all the maybe one Middlesbrough or Sheffield United will get one, whoever doesn't go up. But I think all the other 3 spots are up for grabs. Where normally we're just trying to fill the 6th spot, the last spot.
Yeah.
But I do think there's 3 up for grabs this year.
I agree. I think the sheer grit that the team has shown on Saturday and again last night is a massive marker, and these are statement games. I think we've said it a few times. Onwards to Stoke on Saturday. Fingers crossed, Graham. I was going to ask you for a score prediction for Saturday. Fancy making a score prediction, Mystic Payne?
Oh, I'm going to go 1-0 Millwall. Go on, you've got me. 1-0.
1-0 Millwall. I think I would have gone for the same, actually. So it's got that kind of vibe. I mean, it could all go wrong on us, listeners. They will be shattered after 2 massive performances. But I'm going to go 1-0 Saturday as well. I want to say a huge thank you to Graham Payne for persevering with me this morning. I've been diving around all over the place, and we finally got the conversation going. Big thank you for taking time out of your day, Graham. Appreciate it.
No problem, Nick. Enjoy it as always, mate.
And we're going to close out with, you probably heard my phone pinging in the background, listeners. I've got a load of voicemails for you from last night's performance. So we're going to close out now with the voicemails. Thank you for listening to Achtung Millwall. I'm going to close out with Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello?
Uncle Nick, dear listener, it's the morning after the night before, and Millwall have picked up 4 points from the top 2 in 4 days, or whatever it is, 3 days, however you want to count it. What a week for the club. It was kind of make or break, and it felt very tense on Saturday, as if it could be a huge week in Millwall's campaign. But they rose to the occasion. The Den played its part. Fantastic atmosphere both days. Genuinely, the noise for the goal yesterday against Burnley was something just, it was unreal. It was genuinely like a sort of an outer body experience. Like the noise was unbelievable. Yeah, credit to the big players. Credit to the players that have come in and have done jobs. Look, Saturday wasn't sparkling, but the effort, the dedication, the determination was unbelievable. And yesterday was brilliant as well. Millwall were going to match up to Burnley with effort and commitment. They weren't going to match up to Burnley in terms of skill. I mean, I'll be honest with you, shitting ourselves. Absolutely shitting ourselves in the press box when they were knocking the ball about, looking for a winner right at the death. The way they can pass the ball, especially 95, 96 minutes, everyone's dead on their feet, and they're doing that. They're a fantastic team. Very interesting to see them get involved in the dark hearts of the game. I thought there were some real questionable decisions. Shout out Max and Carlos Bates on the commentary for that Danny McNamara challenge. What a challenge, by the way. But a huge week for Millwall. Massive week. I'm bypassing Stoke. I'm looking straight at Luton. That is a massive game if this club is to realise its ambitions for a potential slot in the playoffs this year. What a win, though. My voice needs a rest. Come on, Millwall. Have a good one, guys.
Well, good morning. The morning after the night before. Harry Warren here again. I thought last night Millwall were weirdly good without really being at their best and managed to get a point. Obviously changes, enforced changes. Oliver Burke missing due to illness or injury. Bradshaw dropped to the bench. Don't know whether or not that was due to a little knock or was rumoured online, but Vogue through the middle and kicking the ball long hopelessly up towards him, long over it in every goal kick. Burnley scoring, which everyone could see coming, without us making any kind of tactical changes or anything like that. And then after we went a goal behind, I thought we were better. I thought we were more positive. I thought we had nothing to lose at that point and turned it around a little bit and were decent. I mean, the goal we gave away was due to Charlie Creswell trying to play out. But other than that, he didn't do much wrong all night, and then Burnley have carved open us again for I think it was Brownhill to hit the post, which could have been 2-0 and good night. But all in all, we deserved a point, I thought, just for the way that we stuck in there. And Bradshaw comes on and does what he does at the moment, which is if the ball is in front of the two posts and you give it to him at his feet, facing goal, he tends to score. Not if it's a one-on-one, but everything else, if it falls to him now, he tends to put the ball on target and force keepers to make saves or make decisions. And realistically, that's all we can ask him to do. He's living on scraps, or has done, and now he's on a great run of form. 4 points from 6 was great. Probably need another 4 from the next 6, if I'm being honest, with the way the results are going. But we're 5th, we're there. It's so close to happening. 14 odd games to go, I think, and we're there. We're in the fight, and we can't ask for more than that. I mean, we've been consistent all year. I just can see us, still grinding out results. The last 2 results have been gritty, old school, proper Millwall performances, and that's what you want to see. It was good to see the two youngsters come on, Eze and the new Irish lad. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. It was good to see him. Ryan Leonard looks really, really short of match fitness, but that will only get better as he plays more games, and he's going to be vital if we keep picking up injuries in the midfield. And yeah, we live to fight another day. Off to Stoke on Saturday. For anyone who's going, good luck to you. It's the most fucking cold, boring ground in the country. Anyway, come on, you Lions. Let's get 3 points on Saturday and then off to Luton next Tuesday. Here we go.
Hello, Nick. Bill Slack walking wounded tonight. I've got a clump on the ear hole from the bloke next to me when we scored, and I've grazed my shin on the seat in front of me. But it's all worthwhile. I ain't a big long message from me tonight. I've been as guilty as anyone moaning about Rowett this year and the quality of some of our play and some of our players. I've written a few off this year, I think, as well. But what a Millwall team we've got down there. You know, I've come out of there Saturday, Tuesday, so proud of them. So I can only speak for me. Are we going to turn in another performance like Coventry between now and the end of the season? Probably. But we're going to have a few of them as well. And we are actually in with a shout here. With our own form, we can start keep nicking them points away from home. I'm beginning to believe that we've got half a chance here of making that playoff spot. Fantastic to a man tonight. Fleming he's got to be the best player we've seen down there in absolutely years. He's really coming into his own, affecting the play as much as he was scoring earlier in the season. Bradshaw coming on and scoring again. It's only positive stuff. Danny Mack, brilliant. Really enjoyed it tonight. Proper Millwall crowd, proper Millwall night. Come on, you Lions. We can do this, boys.
Hi, Nick. It's Matt Richards calling in after the game tonight. What a great battling performance that was against a Premier League team, basically. They control the ball so well, pass it around so well. Sometimes it was like watching Man City, in their like Sky Boost shirts, but we matched them. Okay, they were a better team. We look at possession stats and stuff like that, and they had a few chances, especially in the first half. But we held our own, and there were some really good performances out there. We kept our shape. First half, I thought, there was times where we couldn't even get the ball. It seemed for about 5 or 10 minutes. But we had a few chances from crosses. Fleming had a chance straight at the keeper, which maybe should have played Vogelsammer in. Then he tried from the halfway line. I thought Fleming played really well. Every time he got the ball, he just controlled it, caressed it. Didn't play the quick ball. He held on to it. It was definitely class tonight. And then going. Yeah, and I think Long made a good save as well. He had a good game. And then half-time 0-0. Okay with that. Second half, they get their goal. I think Cresswell, he just... When he does the simple stuff, he's a great defender, or very, very good defender. And, you feel safe and secure. It's when he tries to do just like some sort of spectacular stuff, tries to push forward, and he got caught out trying to push forward, and that's what they got a break and ended up scoring. Anyway, but we held on, made some substitutions. Can't remember us creating too much in the second half, but we got into their half and put them under pressure. The only way we were going to score was through some sort of cross set piece or something like that, and we did it, and Bradshaw scores, one chance tonight, and he puts in the back of the net. That's, you can't ask for more than that. Great finish to the game as well. Great atmosphere. The crowd was quite low, really. It was a bit disappointing, but it seemed low anyway from where I was, and but it was great atmosphere in the crowd. It was at the end of the game. It felt as if we'd won the game. So it was, excellent battling performance. Very different performance to Saturday, but that's what we expected. I mean, God, if anybody said you're going to get a 1-1 against Burnley, everybody would have snapped their hand off for that, wouldn't they? So really, really good result. Let's just hope we can kind of patch the team together for the weekend. See Burke's ill, which is not ideal. I won't go through the team today. Some of the performances were excellent. Some were a bit iffy, but we're playing a top team, so it's wrong to really kind of be too critical. So yeah, we'll crack on and get away to Stoke City and try and get some points up there. Up to 5th now. Got to keep it going. Okay. Cheers, Nick. See you later.
Evening, Nick. Jim Hackett, just after the game's finished. What a fantastic result. I think Burnley showed exactly why they're top of the Championship and top by some margins. Every time they had the ball, they controlled it very well. Individually, they all looked very tidy on the ball. The work rate, their movement, and everything you'd expect from a top quality side. It's obviously cost a few quid to put together, but you can't take that away from them. They play football very tiredly, especially in the first half, when I think they were slightly unlucky not to get a goal, but at the same time our defending and our work rate certainly kept them at bay, and I think George Long pulled off one very good save at close quarters, and the rest of the time they probably flattered a little bit, but at the same time, they always looked like they had something in hand. Second half, again, disappointing with Cresswell after he had such a good couple of weeks, and he's went back to that area of trying to play football in dangerous areas rather than just clear it, which is what he'd been doing recently, in some of the tough games we've had. So hopefully he'll learn from that. And the good thing was it didn't actually cost us too much in the end. I think it would have been disappointing to have lost the game on that. And then obviously he'd have got pelters from everybody just for one slight mistake otherwise he had a fantastic game again. I think the back four were really under the cosh tonight. I think Danny got skinned a couple of times. Murray did his best over on the left-hand side, and the longer the game went on, the more those two came into it as well, and they were still full of running at the end. So very, very happy with the way they ended up. I thought for work rate, you couldn't fault our players. I thought it was a different game to Saturday because they couldn't go chasing Burnley around the park in the top third. But the first half, where the game plan went very well, it sort of went tits up when they got their goal. But after that, I was really disappointed in Burnley. I thought they then turned into a lot of play acting. I think when Twine went down and started rolling around on the floor, it was embarrassing for a man to do that, let alone a football player, when there was absolutely nothing in it. And from that point on, I thought they really looked like they were big-time Charlies who thought they were just going to romp the game and couldn't understand why we were still in it. And I thought they were a little bit fancy Dan after that. And fair play to our lads. Even when the substitutes came on, I thought Leonard was fantastic when he came on. I think he put his head in everywhere, put his foot in everywhere. Bradshaw came on. And suddenly we looked on the front foot, because all we did was knock the ball long. But it was the work rate, I think, of Bradshaw that was winning lots of balls in there. Even when Vogie was still there, they were winning lots of ball between them. And we looked a better side then as we were pushing them further and further. And it was justice, I think, at the end of the day, when Fleming got his cross in and it sort of ping-ponged a bit, and then Bradshaw put it away. Just, again, strikers do that when on a hot streak, don't they? So, yep, fantastic player. But I think I've got to single out Fleming tonight. I think anybody watching him play against the best team in the league tonight could see what a special player he is. And the more he plays for us, the better he gets. And he's like a man mountain now. He's not that big, but when he's got the ball at his feet, he can't be knocked off it. He's got the presence of mind to do little flicks and tricks and make simple passes. And for me, he's turning into a real top-class player. And I'm disappointingly thinking that if we don't go up, then somebody will come and get him at the end of the season, because he's too good for Championship football. He's certainly a shining light for us this season, and that was probably one of his best games against the best team. So overall, again, a different type of game tonight than what we had on Saturday, but the result is fantastic. Anybody would have thought we'd have got 4 points out of those two games were probably thinking they've been drinking something. But as it is, we're all very happy with that. I think 4 points on the Saturday at Stoke. Come on, you Lions.
John Rankin just calling in with the match report. Unbelievable. My nerves are shot to pieces. I was trying to stay calm during the game, but unbelievable performance. Blood and guts from Millwall. First of all, I've got to talk about Burnley. What a team they are. I mean, you know, doing the simple things, but at twice the pace of Millwall. Passing the ball, running into space, passing the ball, running into space, you know, all the way up the pitch. And I'm surprised they didn't put 2 or 3 goals on us. You know, they were absolutely fantastic. What I also noticed about them was the way they pressed on us. We had no time on the ball at all to build any momentum. And to be honest, we were restricted to long punts up front for most of the game. We couldn't play through them either. So how we managed to salvage a 1-1 draw from that is absolutely amazing. There was staunch defending from all the guys. Bit of a slip up by Cresswell, which led to their first goal or their only goal, but you can't really blame him with the amount of pressure put on there. I think standout performance at the back was Danny McNamara. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I thought Burnley let themselves down a bit in the second half with their theatrical theatrics when they got fouled. I think they'd lost their bottle a bit, and yet again the referee completely lost control of his head. I've got to say that Roman Esse made such a change when he came on, and that's not to belittle the players that were already on the pitch, but he's a quality player, that boy. He came on and it was a cauldron, and he did very well indeed. I don't remember the goal that well, even though it was in the CBL. I think it might have been Vogel Sammer again who put the ball in. It might have been Murray Wallace, I think, who actually got the ball in. A little bit of poor defending, it bubbled around, and that man Bradshaw there was rifled it into the net. And again, we just went absolutely ballistic in the cold blow lane. The crowd played their part, very, very noisy. I think that helped subdue Burnley a little bit and also gave our guys a fillip. So that is a fantastic result against what is, you know, man for man, fantastically, a much more superior team. So it's on to Stoke. What we've got to do now is manage the come down. We've got to play the same way against Stoke as we played against Sheffield and Burnley, and we'll be okay. So over and out. Come on, you Lions.
Mike Hayden here, reporting after that 1-1 draw at home to Burnley. Very good result from the Lions, battling scoreline. I think we can all agree with that. You could see Burnley are a good side, popped the ball around nicely. To be honest, did a small poo in the first 15-20 minutes. Thought it could be quite a big defeat. We looked very nervy, and the way they were sort of passing the ball, bringing it back, making space, I thought we were in quite a lot of trouble. But we managed to drag them down a little bit to our level and did well for the remainder of that half. Disappointing goal to concede, you know, they force you to make mistakes. Cresswell made one, and then from the resulting attack, they score. You know, let's be honest, we got away with a couple of good crosses and good chances that they had, but it was a real battling Millwall performance tonight. And I just thought Bradshaw obviously clearly didn't have the legs to go another 90, but when he came on, he was absolutely superb. Just kept winning headers, and you know, when the man's in form and it falls to him in the box, there's only one outcome. Burnley will be ruining some shithousery. I couldn't believe that player didn't get booked when he was injured, and then they brought him back on the pitch. We just couldn't believe it. I mean, how's the ref just letting him get away with that? Just lets him drag him back on the pitch. But anyway, 1-1. Excellent result for the Lions. Really, I think, you know, beating Sheffield United, 1-1 draw against Burnley, no mugs, good result. On to Stoke and then Norwich at home. Some more big games to come, but good run of form from the Lions. Let's hope we can get some more players fit for Saturday. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.